the sustainable development and management with comparison to the two countries which are basically associated mostly with this conference. So when we talk about the sustainable development part, we can say it has become an increasingly critical topic as the world is recognizing the need to protect the planet and the resources for our future generations. It does not typically mean that our current needs without compromising the ability of future generation to meet theirs, but it actually involves the long-term planning and the consideration of the consequences of our actions. The goal is basically to ensure that the long-term viability of our people, of the planet, along with the profits. So the core idea of the sustainability is that the current decisions should not impair the prospects for maintaining or improving the, you can say, future living standards. This also implies that our economic system should also be managed so that we can live off the dividend of our resources. And this sustainable development and management is an approach that will permit continually for in the quality of life with a lower intensity of the resource use, thereby leaving behind for the future generations, or even the enhanced stock of the natural resources and the other assets. And when we start with the history of sustainable development, it has been rooted in the distant past. It has been evident from the theory of Thomas Malthus on the dangers of population growth in late 1700s. This concern actually began in 1974 by UN Kokyok Declaration, which actually addressed the usage of the natural resources in a most sustainable way. So there are like three key elements of sustainable development, and the all the three, it involves economic, environment, and the social. When I talk about environment sustainability, it basically involves decision making and taking actions to protect the natural world by focusing or preserving the capability of environment to support the human life. We talk about biodiversity, we talk about materials, we talk about energy, we talk about biophysical interactions. Similarly, this economic sustainability is the use of various strategies for employing the existing resources optimally so that a responsible and a beneficial balance can be achieved over the long term. We talk about money and capital in this, we talk about employment, technological growth, and the investment. The social stability, when we say this, is the ability of any of the community to develop the process structures which not only meet the needs of the current members but also support the ability of the future generations to maintain a human community, you can say, and that too in a healthy way. We talk about the human density in this, we talk about equity, we talk about quality of life, the political and the institutional structures. So the three core drivers of unsustainability is like consumption, using the resources beyond the reasonable limits set by the nature; production, the gross inefficiencies in production; and distribution, when we say that there is this inequitable distribution of the income between the rich and the poor. There are a lot of studies being coming like which strata of the population with respect to the distribution of income is hampering more of the environmental aspect, like the rich, the poor, the middle. Many of these studies are right now being emerging over it, and these solutions are being provided for this, that we should use 3 R's: safe, reliable energy should be taken care of, life-based interest like health, creativity, and communication should be taken care of, intellectual and spiritual development should be done. So a lot of, you can say, solutions are being provided by each of the country governments for having this sustainable development as per according to the resources or as per according to the viability of that economy. And when we talk about the Indonesia, in you can say in 2017 around, they announced the goal of integrating low carbon green growth into their national development strategy. And to support this effort, a lot of research, you can say, consortiums were being held to explore this potentiality. And a green growth we have seen in its national development plan of 2020 to 24. They have undertaken and strengthened policy reforms on improving the social protection and improving their mechanisming and widening coverage of social security and assistance. They have improved on the health standards and focusing on the disease controls and preventive actions and supply side readiness, and developing this holistic and integrated approach of food system to overcome the malnutrition part too. See, when we talk about the sustainable development, we tend to focus on all our SDG goals. And every economy is working on their SDG goals right now. So as by promoting their an inclusive economy system, you can say through their sustainable investments, and all of the countries, including the India and Indonesia, for which I'm talking about, they are working and encouraging their investments to support a, you can say, a clean energy shift and even reducing their carbon emissions for the sustainable development. And including like the integration of this waste and hazardous management and green industries concept and disaster resilience through their early preparedness and the capacity building part, climate resilience development. All the countries are focusing upon such topics for this SDGs and the sustainable part. And similarly, when I talk about India, India is the third largest producer of the renewables with 42% of power from clean resources only. And India is trying to adopt a comprehensive approach, balancing both the economic growth with the environmental considerations. And to ensure this long term growth, a lot of sustainable practices are being noted upon and are being critically handled by the government. And currently, India is I can say, standing at the forefront of the net zero revolution, embracing the growth as its guiding star. And this remarkable economic growth we have seen from 13 to the 15th largest economy globally has set an ambitious goals for this sustainable development. And the India's commitment to SDGs is being reflected in its convergence with the national development agenda. As we can say, they have a motto also, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, a collective efforts for the inclusive growth. And based on these evidences, every country is having their own measures progress at their subnational level. And the countries has developed a robust SDG localization model centered on their adoption, on their implementation and monitoring at their different state, cities, and district levels, as this has been the need of the hour right now for our future generations. We have been using the resources and we have been utilizing them very well, but are not taking care of them properly. So, to sensitize the people with such things, a lot of measures and a lot of solutions are being provided over. Earlier, there was no such of the social media platforms for this. A lot of social media initiatives are also being taken up by many countries just to sensitize the people about the importance of this sustainable development concept. So we should be like more inclined towards the, uh, I can say, the uh, balancing and the one needs to be balanced among, like, in case if we are using it, then we should seek some return to that also. So that return needs to be at the individual level first, then only we will be able to move to the state, then to the country level. This is like the interdependency of, you can say, the micro and the macro part. The efforts should be started at the micro level first for the sustainable development part. Then only we will be moving towards the macro part of the countries, and we can say that the countries are actually working out on their SDGs and are also working out towards for the future generations. So I'll be concluding here only. Thank you so much, sir.